Aloha and welcome to Henry's Hideout, my backyard tiki bar. I've been getting a few comments on the channel recently about how to build a tiki bar like this in your backyard regarding measurements and materials, so that's what we're going to get into today. Let's do it. The very first step to building your backyard tiki bar would be to evaluate the space that you have for said tiki bar. And then once you have those measurements kind of rough laid out, then get comfortable with Google SketchUp. On your screen now is the finalized-ish version of this tiki bar that I built on Google SketchUp, and that's just gonna give you the measurements and it's gonna give you an idea of exactly what pieces of wood that you need to go buy. Once you have all that, then go over to Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you wanna go, and buy pressure-treated lumber. If you're building the tiki bar outside, make sure you have pressure-treated lumber so your wood will last for a good amount of time. To bolt all this together, you're gonna need metal L brackets and star screws and lag bolts. Pretty much everything can be put together with the L brackets and the star screws, except these big posts here, we lag bolted in from the top. Also, this entire structure is bolted into the concrete, so you're gonna need to pick up some metal posts to drill into the concrete and then set your whole foundation. Why do you wanna bolt the structure into the concrete? Well, because you're gonna be making trade winds and hurricanes here, so you don't want this bad boy blowing away in one of those. Get it? Bad joke? All right, moving on. Once the foundation is set and sound, it's time to take an electric hand sander and sand the entire bar. I'm talking in the ceiling supports, I'm talking the main bar, all the shelves, the posts. It's gonna take a while, but it'll be worth it. Once you have that sanded down, go ahead and pick a wood stain color that you love. I went with this dark brown to almost imitate like a shipwreck wood. I used a cloth and just applied the wood stain everywhere. That takes a while as well. Then the only other thing for the structure that you'll need is some wooden backing panels for your back wall, because you're gonna want a wood surface so you can screw in and nail in all your precious tiki masks and things. So bare bone structure looks something like this. Takes a little bit of time, like I said, but it is worth it. Now you can move on to the next step, which is getting your natural materials that make the bar really look like a tiki bar. And those three natural materials are thatch roofing, bamboo for the front and sides of your bar, and bok matting or lahala matting. This is bok, that's dried banana leaves weaved together. That's a traditional thing that goes behind all your tiki decor. All your natural materials can be found at foreverbamboo.com or their brick and mortar shop in San Diego if you live in California. I actually only got my bok matting from Forever Bamboo because I didn't know about them when I was buying my thatch and bamboo. I bought my thatch from some sketchy website that shipped the thatch straight from Mexico for me. This is actually Mexican thatch. And then I bought the bamboo fencing, funnily enough, from Bed Bath & Beyond, but that stuff is no longer available on their website. So when it comes to installing your bamboo fencing, you just buy a roll of it, you roll it out, and you star screw it in. And then we actually have a black cloth material along the backside of the bamboo, just so the wall looks a bit more like a wall instead of like a roll of bamboo, because you could see light coming through if you don't have some type of cloth or something behind it. So I'd recommend stapling in a black cloth and then rolling out your bamboo fencing so it looks like a full wall. Now, something I would do different, the thatch. What we did was we just draped the thatch right over our 2x4 supports and we nailed all the thatch in, so we don't really have a roof. We just have thatch that's kind of hanging and sagging now and a little bit of light is poking through. I would take thatch or lahala matting, put that over the 2x4s first, then take some corrugated metal so you actually have a roof, and then layer thatch on top of that. So you're kind of hiding the metal, yet you still have a solid roof where water's not gonna leak through. And then the bok matting, you can just staple gun that, cut it to size, staple gun it right into your wooden backing panels. All right, so hopefully at that point, your bar is looking pretty tiki, but it is barren of the decorations. I'm just gonna run through where I got all this stuff really quick, just so you can get a feel for it. eBay, flea market, eBay, thrift store, eBay. My brother had an old oar, so we put it up. eBay, thrift store, eBay, thrift store, nautical shop in Oceanside, Etsy shop, custom sign, Etsy shop, Kingdom Treasures, I believe is what it's called. Pufferfish, Etsy, need one of those for your tiki bar. These little lantern holders, thrift shop. Bamboo wind chimes, thrift shop. Little flickering lanterns, Temu. And then all the greenery, all the jungle faux stuff, that's all Temu as well. So if you want to do like the jungle thing, like the jungle has kind of been growing into your tiki bar, I would recommend getting a bunch of faux greenery from Temu, honestly. Just get a couple different types. And then I also got these big like faux stick twig things that are for reptile cages and snake cages. But I have one over here and one over here, and I have a little snake wrapped around this one here. I just think it's a fun touch if you want to go for like more of a jungle thing. And of course, we don't even have to mention the sickness that is mug collecting. So have fun collecting your masks, your mugs, your nautical things like fish floats, and of course your puffer fish. I want to talk real quick about lighting. I have some rattan looking string lights, and then I have a bunch of these flicker candles everywhere, and that's pretty much what we have for lighting. Also tiny little light up fish floats that line the tiki mug collection, and those are my only type of colored lights. If you could get some type of like strip lighting or underglow lighting and hide it somewhere in your tiki bar to have like different colors, that would be cool. I wish I had something more than just like the orange light, but it does the trick when we're out here at night and we're having a party and you need to see. Then another big thing I have is this trusty bar cart. It's great for parties because you get to kind of build the drinks right in front of people. If you don't have a back bar, which I don't, I just have a little shelf here to hold my alcohol and my tiki mugs. But I would highly recommend getting a bar cart if you're gonna go this route, if you don't wanna build a whole back bar, because you can store things in this bar cart as well as move it around, and it's a great little workspace for me. And then one of the last things you will have to acquire are some appropriate looking bar stools and chairs. These are the ones that I have. I found the bar stools on Facebook Marketplace, 4 of them for $60. It was an insane deal. Just a gentleman's parents had passed away, and that was in their home bar, and he just didn't have a use for the bar stools, so now they're mine. And then these 2 rattan looking chairs we got from a thrift store, $12 each, and they're definitely degraded out here. Should have kept them inside. I didn't know they were gonna be this fragile, but hey, 12 bucks is 12 bucks. So find whatever bar stools that you need to find. Also, that brings me to one more point. Make sure you build your bar to the standard bar height so the bar stools will fit. You don't want to be slouched over. You don't want to be creeping up on the top of the bar trying to sip your drink, right? That pretty much covers it. I want to go over 3 things that I would change if I were to build this bar again. Number 1, biggest issue, the bar top itself. This is just a 12-inch wide piece of pressure treated lumber, and it has definitely started to warp on me throughout the year. The bar is a year old now, so that goes to show you how quick this wood can warp. So I would maybe shell out this time for a better material for the bar top, whether that's some other type of wood or even like a granite or a marble. A black lava rock looking bar I think would be awesome. Second thing I would change, I would make the ceiling an A-frame because that is traditional tiki, and also it gives you a lot more room to hang stuff. So then like all my fish floats and things that are kind of hanging along the perimeter of the bar could be hung in the center. So I would make an A-frame. I might not make it super tall, but I would make it subtle. So if you are on Google SketchUp creating your own thing, or you're looking at the description below for all these measurements, maybe consider making an A-frame roof. And then the last thing that I would totally do is run a little line of water out here so I could have like a sink, because I am going in and out all the time when I have luau's and parties just to get to that sink in the kitchen. Thankfully, the kitchen is right here, and my pebble ice machine and my sink is just right in the door there. But it would be cool to have just a little sink in the corner so you could be out here still enjoying time with your guests and not rushing into the kitchen every second to clean up. Okay, I think that's it. If you have any questions that I did not cover, please leave those questions in the comments below. Please check the description as well. It's going to be the most helpful description that I've ever posted, because it's going to have all the measurements for this bar, and it'll just have a couple more tips and tricks maybe that I forgot to throw in this video. That is how to build a tiki bar in your backyard. I hope you go out and do it. And if you do it and you need some help along the way, come back to this video to comment, like this video so it saves, just so you can kind of get reiterated with some of this stuff that I just said. And yeah, most of all, I want to see your tiki bar in progress or finished. Tiki bar is never finished, right? So let's stay in touch. Please, in the comments below, reach out, and I hope you guys have a great experience building your backyard bar and throwing some fun luau's. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next week for a drink video back on schedule. All right, aloha, cheers.